Wonderful and blessed day today. Hope it's going absolutely amazing for you. Okay, on today's show, as I always said, I was gonna start the show off with this flyer. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna every time I go live, I'm gonna start the show off with the flyer. So August 19th, 7 p.m. NolanWells National Prayer Rally. Keynote speaker Dr. Jamal Bryant. It's a birthday remembrance. Birthday remembrance. Call to prayer. Fight for justice. Greater St. John AME Church, 551 Division Street, Biloxi, Mississippi, 39530. But like I was saying before, I really hope somebody streams that, for the people that cannot be there, because we do support you. We do support the Wells family. Well, at least I know I do. I support them, and I wish I could be there. But I'm hoping that somebody will stream it. You know what I mean? So for the people that cannot be there. So there we go once again, and I'm always gonna start my show off with this flyer until that day comes when they have it, when they have this prayer rally. So there we go. Let's get into some of these videos I found on Instagram. I hope everybody's feeling quite well today. Quite well. Hope you're doing okay. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Ain't too many of y'all in here, but I really appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Let me see all this stuff we seen yesterday. So let me see. It was a couple of them that I seen today that I was going to talk about. I was going to actually show. I'm gonna try some. I think I showed that yesterday. Oh, this right here, man. This is funny right here, man. Like this, I don't know what the hell this lady is doing with this boy. Look like he about in between 7 and 10. Ain't like he got a diaper on. Let's check this out. This is crazy.
Ass nigga decides to leave last night. Left work. They gonna text me talking about I'm leaving work.
Y'all see him?
Yeah, I sure did. Who the hell? Fuck all that what you talking about. Who is that young man? Who is that young man? Who's that teenager? Who's that future homemaker of America? Who's
right.
Future head of household? Who's that just walked past the goddamn camera in a dive? I swear to God. Yo, trifling. Yo, what the fuck? I swear to God, I see the back pocket on the diver and it had a wallet in it. What the fuck? You trifling mother?
Like he had a wallet in it. Watch that little boy.
To leave like
Look, man. I mean, he's like fully grown. Why would he be wearing a diaper?
Left work. They gonna text me talking about I'm leaving work.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I sure did. Who the hell? Fuck all that what you talking about. Who is that young man? Who is that young man? Who's that teenager? Who's that future homemaker of America? Who's future head of household? Who's that just walked past the goddamn camera in a dive? I swear to God. Yo, trifling. Yo, what the fuck? I swear to God, I see the back pocket on the diver and it had a wallet in it. What the fuck? You trifling mother?
Ass nigga.
Oh my God. Well, that's crazy, man. I always it's good to start a live off with a laugh, That was pretty funny right there. I decided to this lady, like, she got beat down real bad. I'm not gonna show that, but I wanted to show this one right here because this white man here, I don't know where he from, or what city. I think they're gonna say it. They're gonna say what city and state that he's from, but he was actually trying to prove. I think he went before the board of this city, but he was actually trying to prove how they racially profile black people. Because look what he did. Check this out.
Know what these are? Yeah, you do. License plate tabs. These are mine from a year ago when I decided to start an experiment to see how long I, as a white dude, could drive around without them and not get pulled over. Last year, working all the way across town 5 days a week, driving through 4 or 5 different police jurisdictions, I was never stopped or questioned once. But please do keep telling us that there's no racial or class bias in policing. I bet if I started riding my bike around with a gun on me, nobody would call. But in the past couple of years, GRPD has killed on 2 out of 3 calls for simply being black and having a firearm, supposedly in a state where that in itself is not illegal.
That's crazy. So it's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. A man said he was riding around for a whole year with expired tags and never got pulled over once. They pass by and wave at him, everything, make sure, see if he's doing okay. How you doing, sir? He even just get in front of the police at the light. Police turning left, let me get on over here and turn left too. See if they'll see this tag. They both turn. Police go around and wave at him. They ain't paying attention to the license plate because he's not black. That's basically what that man is saying. That's crazy. What was this? Oh, yeah. I'm going to check in with OG Big Matt. I think he got a pretty good one right here.
Trespass warnings from Walmart. You guys are
no. I want to. This is the one. That's one that I want to talk about because I got 2 that I want to talk about with that guy, man. Y'all heard about that man. I can't remember his name, but he always be hanging around the Walmart, giving out money. He be going viral for that stuff, man. But you'll never believe what happened. I'm pretty sure some of y'all already know, which is crazy. But anyways, we won't get into that though. Check this out, man. This Officer Tatum sent this lady. I don't know. I've never watched none of her content. Maybe I have. Maybe I went across some of her little posts or videos, whatever, but I just don't remember. But Officer Tatum ended up liking one of her reels. And she wasn't too happy with it. Check this out.
Officer Tatum, I don't fuck with you. And you know that. I don't know why you even like my post. Did you think that I was coinciding with you? You gotta be out your fucking rabbit ass coon mind. Let me explain something to you. The only reason why I use your screenshot is because you say it's always 2 sides to a story. The fucking side that you on is Casper the Ghost and you ain't over here with Aunt Jemima. Let me break it down to you, motherfucker. Casper the Ghost is white and Aunt Jemima is black. Let's talk about it. You want so bad to make these motherfucking little white boys to be innocent. But what about that fucking black boy named NolanWells? Here? See, I don't fuck with the likes of you because you too busy trying to down your motherfucking culture where the fuck you came from. Now I know your wife is fucking lily white with no fucking features and fat as a motherfucking pancake. But see over here, I'm gonna let your motherfucking ass have it and give you the blessings for the gods. Let me explain something to you. I don't give a care who or what did it. If a black man life is being taken by a white man or a black man, it's still a life being taken. I can't take no sides with that. It's not 2 sides to a motherfucking story. It's called somebody life being taken by the hands of a man. Everything ain't got to be about motherfucking color. But here's the thing that you need to legislate in your motherfucking life. You need to have grounding to know where the fuck you came from. Because you are embarrassment, not to me. Not to my black son, but you're embarrassing to your motherfucking self. Because 9 times out of 10, you got some motherfucking mixed breed children over there, and they're gonna have to live with their daddy actions. And you got that motherfucking lady over there who pale as 2 motherfucking left doors, and she ain't even tell you no motherfucking right. Because you know why? You probably went to a woman like that so she could shut the fuck up and obey you. But it's something about a man leading you down the fucking wrong road, and you a man that's being led down the wrong road. Okay? So if you gonna like my shit, you gonna get this motherfucking blessing that I got for you too, because I'm gonna read your fucking ass for filth. So again, don't come over here playing and liking nothing because I don't coincide with a fucking thing you say, Brandon Tatum. A life is a motherfucking life. It's no wrong or fucking right. There's no two sides to a story when a white man take a black man life or when a black man take a black man life. It's still a black life being taken. It is called Black Lives Matters, motherfucker, because if anything happens to the little white fucking people that you got over there, you gonna cry a motherfucking river. And guess what? Bitch, I won't be dropping a motherfucking tear here. Because the same way you feel about my motherfucking people, the same way I feel about the motherfucking people over there. I don't give no fucks. I said what the fuck I said. Brandon Tatum. Fucking over here liking shit. Stay where the fuck you at. On your side with Cass with a motherfucking ghost and leave me over here with Ancient Mom and my motherfucking people. I said what the fuck I said. Goodbye.
She went in on Brandon Tatum. We're gonna get into all that though, because we're gonna watch that interview. And I said I was gonna watch that Nancy Grace again, but actually, you know, he had that second interview. I think it's supposed to be 2 parts to it, but he had the first interview the other day, and it was a lot of people reacting to just kind of acting funny, you know, reacting to that and trying to find poke holes in that interview. But there's one guy that's always on with Don Lemon, and I think he's a psychotherapist. So we're gonna watch that interview, and then we're gonna go to his little, I guess his little video, and see his reaction. But let me finish watching these Instagram things. I hope everybody is doing all right. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. Got a few of these. Okay, this is the one I was talking about. So this guy, I know y'all have seen him or seen some of his videos. You know, he stands out in front of Walmart. He be giving people money and stuff like that. But I was gonna play this video. I guess he ended up getting kicked out of something else, you know, but you know, he always kind of like giving people money.
What's wrong?
I seen one time where the guy, he has like a Corvette. This guy right here, a C8 Corvette. And it was one guy, he walked up, he was admiring his car, and he was like, "Man, I love your car." So whatever, you know, and this guy was like, "Hey, well, you could take it around up here at this gas station right here and put gas in it." So he gave him some money, and he let the guy drive it. So this guy walks over with the camera crew to the convenience store, and the guy gets out of his Corvette, and he was like, "Man, you know this car didn't need no gas." And he was like, "Yeah, I was just trying to let you drive it since you liked it so much." And I believe he gave the guy like $200 for gas. And the guy went to hand him his money back, and he was like, "No, you keep it, man. That's for you." And I was like, "Man, that's cool." But he's always going around helping people, man. And it's crazy what Walmart did to him. But let's check this out.
We're just buying these people.
They're okay being filmed.
Hey, but you guys took pictures of her earlier. So
Of who? Why would we take pictures of her for? We don't take pictures.
He's
Yeah, we don't even take pictures. But they're completely fine being in it.
I just want to take pictures.
Yeah.
I have to send it to
Hi.
my son.
How are you?
Oh, wait, I got it on the wrong way.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Listen, high five.
We don't mean any trouble,
He
ma'am.
doesn't.
Just spreading love.
No,
Can't.
we're good.
Yeah. Trying to help this guy who's in remission from cancer. So I hope that's not too big of a problem.
Your videos always bring me joy.
Hey, that's
I
the
like
point.
watching
That's
them.
the point of them,
I
man.
do too.
That's the point of them. Thank you for watching them.
Full time I was
Yeah.
going through chemo, I'd sit and watch.
Really?
Yeah, it brought me joy.
And that's why I can't quit. Hey, here's 50 for you too,
man,
bud.
we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bob.
Get you some gas or something. That's all you need?
Yeah, I got
Give me
it.
a hug.
Bob.
You guys
I
have
don't
a
need
good
it. You
day.
keep it. We're leaving, ma'am, right after her, okay? I'm sorry.
Thank you so much.
You're
man.
welcome.
Then there was an older lady come up complaining.
Why?
She saw me filming somebody else. I wasn't filming her,
Yeah,
but
she said that he had cornered somebody in here and wanted to film him, and the lady kept saying no, no, no.
well, I actually gave them
That's great.
$200 and bought them a cart full of baby stuff for their newborn baby, and they were really happy about it, and they thanked me over and over. That's actually what happened. Do you want it back here?
Yeah.
Okay. There's some stuff I couldn't find, like pants. You want me to just toss? I hope that helps.
Man, that's awesome, man. That is really awesome for somebody to just, you know, a total stranger just to go out and buy stuff. You know, you could be walking in the store and this man comes up to you and asks you, like, what are you getting out of this store? Or I'm getting such and such. Well, I'm gonna go in with you. He don't tell you why, but he starts talking to you. You get to the register and he pay for all your shit. I mean, that's very awesome, man, because you know, you don't find people like that nowadays.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to redeem myself. You know, I wasn't always a great father. There was a time where I was an alcoholic and I wasn't there for a short period. They always had access to me, but I wasn't really doing my job to the fullest. And I've been sober 10 years and 6 months now, and I'm a great father with custody of all 5 of my children.
That's cool.
We grew up without all of our fathers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many fathers were there? There was 3 in our mix.
Yeah.
Can I give you a couple hundred just for your weekend?
How's she looking at him?
Yeah, I'm sure you need a break. You already raised your children, and I don't know, here's a couple hundred for you too. Some pocket cash.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take this, and I got some cash for you too. Sorry,
But you know, I don't know where he's at, man. But some of these people are probably looking at, you know, they're looking at him like crazy. Really, basically, because none of you very seldom find people doing this, and then you don't know where he's at, and they might be thinking he has an ulterior motive. Give me money, he must want something at the end. But you know, how come somebody just can't, you know, just doing stuff out of the kindness of their heart? But the world is so messed up now that people just can't believe in the things that this man is doing.
keep taking all your cash, your quiche. But it's good because your customers will be able to come spend it.
Much.
You're welcome. God bless you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Bye. I hope it gets better for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take a picture.
Absolutely. Love you, Bob.
Thank you.
Oh, what you got in there? The Glock?
Nah.
In the switch? Hi, how are you, bud? You going to get gas?
Yeah, we are.
Just go over there. Don't spend it on gas. Wait on me. I'm going to get you some gas. Yeah. Yeah.
You're fantastic.
Yeah. God bless you, Mima. What's wrong?
That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but it's just the way people aren't accepting. You know what I'm saying? This guy's just trying to do something out of the kindness of his heart, and they looking at him like he's all crazy and stuff like that. I know somebody walked up to me. Hold on, let me get. I hate when people do that. But yeah, somebody walked up to me and told me they was gonna fill my tank up. I'd be happy as a mug, man. These people looking at him like he's crazy. But this is what happened to him. I don't know when this happened, but the police pulled him over and told him this.
All right, so you guys are both going to get issued trespass warnings from Walmart, okay? You guys are no longer allowed to go to any Walmarts, any Sam's Clubs, or any Murphy gas station for life, okay? So that is a life ban from Walmart.
Who's issuing that?
What?
Who's issuing that?
Walmart is. So
what? What'd we do?
That's any private business can. I didn't go to Walmart. I just came and.
Well, they can't just do it for no reason.
Yes, I can.
Even if we're not
They
there.
don't have to have a reason.
I don't.
Well, can I appeal that?
What?
Can I appeal
You
that?
can call corporate. Yeah,
I'm definitely appealing.
That's.
I'm going to give it to my lawyer. Have a good
That's
day,
fine.
buddy.
You as well.
That's like really crazy, man. So Walmart ends up banning this guy because he stands out there and he helps people. He gives them money, or maybe he'll go in the store with them, you know, and buy their stuff, or he'll stand there and give them some money, you know, while they're at, you know, walking into Walmart. He stands at the door, he talks to them for a little bit, and he gives them, you know, might hand them a little money, or he may, like I said, walk in the store and buy all their stuff for it. And Walmart didn't like it, and I don't understand that. I mean, he's actually giving these people money to go into your store to buy your shit. So what is the problem? I know one time I seen one of those videos, and he was standing in front of a Walmart, and it was, what do you know? It was a male Karen harassing him, telling him he need to leave. Nobody wants his help. Nobody wanted him around there. And he just kept talking, you know, asking the man, why? Why? I'm just trying to spread the goodness. I'm just trying to help people, you know? Yeah, you just need to get away from here. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So I don't know, maybe he just in the wrong state, wrong city, because they really aren't accepting him and the good work that he's trying to do. But shout out to him. I can't remember his name. Because I follow him on Facebook, but I cannot remember his name. But shout out to him, man. I mean, just keep up the good work. Don't let them discourage you. I mean, there's plenty of other grocery stores besides Walmart, but I don't know. We don't know where he's at, but yeah, it's just awesome, man. And then, they're just so hateful towards this man of trying to help people. And I don't know if they're being hateful like that because of the color of his skin or, you know what I'm saying? I just don't know. I don't understand that because, like I said, he's giving them money to go into your store and buy your shit. So what is the problem? I don't know. I wonder what kind of like rule or something, or what is he breaking? What rule is he breaking? And like Walmart's policies, something like that. What is he? Are they trying to say that he's soliciting, or would they put it in that same category as soliciting? Is that why they don't want him around, or could it be because of color of his skin? I don't know, man. It's crazy. It makes no sense for why they would ban him from all WalMarts, all Sam's, all Murphy's. Makes no sense. It really doesn't. And I wanted to do this, drop this thing on Flacco, Poetic Flacco, but I don't think I'm gonna do that, man. I kind of rock with Poetic too, but you know, they was saying back in the day, man, he was like against his own kind. He was like a half of a Brandon Tatum. But I like Flacco, you know what I'm saying? I never did catch his early content. I did see him when he was on No Jumper. And I remember he used to be saying Iggas. I don't deal with you Iggas and all that stuff. But I didn't know it was that bad. Cause somebody pulled his past, pulled up all his past content, man, and it was pretty rough, man. So if y'all get a chance, you could go to the Family TV. Shout out to the Family TV and check out the video he did on Poetic Flacco. It says YouTuber exposed for secret Uncle Tom past. That's crazy. That is really crazy. You know what? I think I am gonna watch a little bit of Nancy Grace because it was something on there where she was talking about with that guy, and he was explaining to her. He was saying that the guy was like, "We don't need podcasters and content creators butting into this investigation," which I don't understand. How are YouTubers and content creators or podcasters butting into the investigation? I mean, they just seeing what's been put out there and just kind of piecing it together. The only one that's really butting into it is Brandon Tatum. He's the one that's butting into it. He keeps doing interviews with these boys, and he thinks those interviews are going great, and they really aren't. People are tuned in to him to see what other lies these boys are gonna tell. But this time, when they went into when they did an interview, I believe they had an attorney with him, and this attorney was like giving people like I heard him say, "Hey, this is your chance to apologize. If you don't apologize, we're coming after you." I don't know who he was talking about. I know he was saying they was gonna start trying to sue people for defamation of character, something stuff like that. I don't know. They said they had put out a list, but then someone said that list that was put out was fake. So I guess when people start getting letters, because his attorney, he claimed that he was going to start going out to people, and it seemed like he was a little rude as well. I mean, he was, like rude and the other word, as well. It seemed like I put rude. I'm just being nice when I say rude, but you know what I'm talking about by the way he was talking, and he kind of he said something in the interview too. when he started talking to the attorney. And once we get into that part, I will stop it and talk about it because what he said did not make any sense whatsoever. And I wonder when this part 2 is gonna come out. So I'm gonna check on. I'm gonna go back to this Nancy Grace that I reacted to it last night. I'm gonna go on here because I want to see this part where this guy was talking about the podcasters and content creators butting into the investigation. Let's check this out. Hold on, see if I can.
Wells investigation, a mystery altercation emerges, and not with the guys that took him to the island on the boat, leaving Horn Island.
Okay, here we go.
That boat was on the boat.
All right, so now they said that it was a mystery altercation, but I know somebody had something to say about that mystery altercation. They said that was false. That was fake. That was just another thing to kind of distract us from the real situation. And we're going to watch that too. Oh, yeah, we're going to watch that too.
Is that even real? We don't know yet. Or has it been doctored? Trying to find out. I've got experts telling me, renowned experts, by the way, it's real. And renowned experts saying it's not real. It's just like a trial, right? Where it's expert v. expert. Who's telling the truth?
Sure.
I wanted to talk about this mystery altercation. If it happened at 5 p.m., that boat was already gone. Now, as much as some people want to hang the young guys on the boat, I want to make sure we hang the right person. If there is a mystery altercation after that boat lift, we need to be investigating that altercation.
Well, you're 100% right, because the 3 young men that are, at least the people are saying are involved in this, that went there with NolanWells, there's a specific timeline from what I read. They needed assistance on their boat. They left at 4:30.
You just gave me a chill down my spine. You can't introduce something because people say, I don't care what people say on either side. No, they mean nothing to me.
Nancy, that's the problem when we have things like podcasts today and people who are not qualified to talk about serious things like this. They're not experts. They want to get likes. Law enforcement is going to keep information close to the best.
He saw the DMs. I don't have a reason to think he didn't see the DMs. Now, many people are arguing that he has taken a side. We have not taken a side. I'm on the side of finding out why everybody got back to the mainland except NolanWells.
Well,
and
listen,
nobody saw anything.
Teenagers.
Nobody knows anything. It's just like Tupac Shakur got shot on the strip.
Nancy,
Vegas, we still don't know what happened. Nobody saw a thing. That's BS.
These are young men hanging out. It's not unusual one may stay behind to hang out with other people. None of that is unusual for teenagers partying and having a good time. So that fact alone doesn't mean anything.
Where's your cell phone? Where is your cell phone? And try not to lie. Where's your cell phone?
Okay, right here.
Oh, really? Because here's mine. So you want to tell me NolanWells stayed behind and his cell phone went without him? I understand. Don't everybody start screaming that he didn't want to get it wet. Of course he didn't want to get it wet. But there's ways around that. You can go put it on shore in your shoe like everybody else does to hide it from people and then retrieve it when you go. But no, he let the boat leave with his phone. I agree with his mother on that. That is not NolanWells. He was never away from his phone.
So that doesn't mean anything in of itself with what's coming out about this. You know, you're talking about him staying behind. You're talking about there's evidence that he was there after 4:30 p.m. If he's there after 4:30 p.m., NolanWells on that island hanging out with other people, that's it. The fact that a cell phone is on a boat and he's not as a teenager doesn't really mean anything at all.
Okay, you know what? I asked you about a mystery altercation, and should we be looking in that direction right now? And you're like going on and on about the cell phone.
No, but
everybody
that's my point.
Cell phone, which is everyone, knows you never
Nancy,
leave
that's
without
my
your cell
point.
phone.
You have to look at what really happened. If there was this mystery altercation, then yes, the police need to be investigating that. They need to be looking into that.
So I'm kind of curious when he said content creators and stuff like that, butting into it, he had to have been talking about Brandon Tatum. He had to be, because that's exactly where she went to when he said it. You feel me? So I thought he was talking about, like, other people, but he was saying podcasters and content creators, and I really believe that he was actually talking about Brandon Tatum. Putting his 2 cents in. And you're right, he has took a side. He claims that he hasn't, but he has took a side. And you can tell in this interview that we're getting ready to watch. And nobody's really paying attention. Nobody's really concerned about him, because everybody already knows what side that he chose. Because we know that he's tied into somebody that knows them boys. He was on the board of that Turning Point, and one of them boys' family members is a part of that Turning Point, or started it, or something like that. So we already know that, and I guess that's why they keep choosing him. But that psychotherapist seems to think it's something else why they keep choosing him. So let me see. This guy's going to say something else about content creators, but I really think he was talking about Brandon Tatum. But I want to see. I do want to see. I want to make sure.
Sense. And good luck. You know what? Let's hear Tatum again. And hey, take it for what it's worth. Try to get the truth out of what we're hearing. Okay? Listen.
Nolan and another person that he may have been in an argument with, to me, are people that need to be investigated.
With that, I agree with Tatum. As much as we disagree on practically everything else, if this happened, and forget about the girl, I'm talking about the altercation. Cheryl McCollum, come on. He dies. Nobody sees him. The others get back safely. Now we're hearing about an altercation afterwards. And I'm not ruling out that he was on that boat when they left. But now I'm hearing about an altercation. When you can't tell the truth of what's happening, look at who was angry. Look if there was an altercation. I don't know what happened, but when I hear altercation after the Triton left, I've got to go there.
You got to look at it. You absolutely cannot ignore it. But one thing we already know from the second autopsy, they would have mentioned if he had any type of injury to his knuckles, if he had been in a fight. We didn't hear anything about abrasions or bruising or any type of injury that would be indicative of somebody that is a college football player fighting somebody.
Okay, now I have just told everybody that you're a forensic expert. It's starting to taste like a dirt sandwich. Because, okay, I'm going to let you sit in the corner and think about what you just said. Joe Scott Morgan joining me, Professor.
She put that lady in the corner. That's crazy, man. I'm going to put you in the corner. Give her a juice box and go sit in the corner. That's crazy, man. That lady, man, Nancy Grace is a trip, man. She's talking to grown-ups. It looked like that lady was a little older than her, too. I don't know, but she did look like it. She's talking to grown-ups like they kids, man. That's crazy. That is crazy. But anyways, I wanted to stop there because they said they're talking about this altercation that happened after that boat left. And if there was an altercation after they left, don't you think those boys would know who he got into it with? Because remember, this is a small town, tight-knit community. Don't you think they would know by now? Like, hey, oh, damn, I hit my damn mic. If he got into it with somebody on that island, somebody that knows him or knows them, knows that he hangs around them sometimes. They would have, probably contacted one of them boys and said, "Hey, such and such got into it with Nolan. Right after y'all left, man, they start arguing because it's a tight knit community. Everybody knows everybody, according to was it Tristan? Tristan, according to the Barber E. So everybody knows everybody. If there was an altercation, somebody should have went back and told them boys no, because somebody would have went back and told them, hey, after y'all left, Nolan got into it with such and such, and they went left. So they know either way it goes, they know.
Of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, star of a hit series, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. He is a death investigator with over 10,000 death scenes under his belt, deaths of all genre. Joe Scott Morgan, let's refresh Cheryl McCollum's recollection. That's what you say in court when obviously the witness is gone off the rails. Your Honor, pause, Your Honor, objection. May I refresh the witness's recollection? In other words, get it together. Don't you remember what we just talked about before you got on the stand and you give them a piece of paper and go, can we see that the drawings on the autopsy control room? Joe Scott, there's a big, thank you. There's a big honking mark, subcutaneous, deep reddening tissue on his occipital.
So we did talk about this yesterday. I just wanted to see if that guy was going to come back and say, he said the content creators and podcasters are trying to butt into the investigation. And the only person I can think of is Brandon Tatum, who he's talking about. Because when he said it, she went straight to him. Hold on. Jeez, here it is. Here's something. And then, you can't really trust Brandon because he didn't even come up with the, the metadata of those videos that he was being asked. He was supposed to show Trent out loud. Shout out to Trent out loud. He was supposed to show him the metadata to so they could see that those videos was took on the 4th of July.
Can't really tell anything because he's so decomposed, but you can see his hands well enough to know he was not in a fist fight. Yeah,
Right.
that's convenient, Joe Scott.
he
Look,
was not in
I'm
a
not
fist
trying
fight.
to convict anybody. I'm trying to find the truth. I'm trying to find out if this evidence of an altercation really happened. And to further muddy the waters, now we have more witnesses stating what they saw.
Another report came to me of someone saying that they saw Nolan with a girl, and they believed that they saw Nolan and this girl struggling in the water, not necessarily drowning, but struggling. Like it was obvious enough that the person was concerned when they saw Nolan in the water, and he was with this girl.
That's from Officer Tatum's show. Cheryl McCollum, it seems to me that that's not true. Because don't you think if a witness saw one or two people, quote, struggling in the water?
Hey, she let her back out the corner. She told that lady get in the corner earlier. She gave her a juice box and put in the corner. She let her back out.
Would try to help them.
It makes no sense.
And they did nothing?
It doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't be their focal, that they would pay attention to those two people that are struggling to see, is one going under and not resurfacing? What can we do to help? The idea that they would watch that, see a struggle, and then what? Turn back and finish barbecuing? That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Not at all. So this is a problem, Greg Morse. You're a veteran trial lawyer. We're getting so much information, and a lot of it is inconsistent. And that is why you have cross-examination. So you can test the evidence, test whether it's true under the fire of cross-exam. when you have conflicting stories like this, my instinct is to go with the one that makes the most sense. What do you make of these claims that Nolan was struggling in the water? I really believe if he had been, quote, struggling in the water, that either she or her friends would have come forward by now. I mean, what about these guys on the boat that had already left? Don't they want to save them? I mean,
Well,
I'm just trying to
you're
find
right.
out what happened to Nolan. And if this is true, it may place him on the island after they left.
Well, that's it, and that's what the police are doing. Is they're going to run these leads down, and they're going to try to verify what's credible and what's not before they go to a grand jury. They're going to exclude information that they think is completely uncredible. However, all of this information, if people are arrested at some point in the future and charged with a crime for NolanWells' death, then all of these conflicting stories, all of these different timelines, they become a conflict in the evidence. And as you know, Nancy, there's 3 ways a jury can find reasonable doubt if this ever gets there. And one of those ways is in a conflict in the evidence. So these are all favorable things that would benefit a defendant or defendants down the road. However, there's a reason why law enforcement does investigations. Professionals do it, not podcasters talking about it. Verified sources, all of that is nonsense. The police are going to keep information to themselves. They're going to also keep information private so they can test statements that come from people and verify what they're saying based on factors that don't get released in the media. So clearly something happened after 4:30 when the Triton boat apparently left. And all of these things the police will find, they will discover. You know, the police can discover whose phones were active at the time in that whole area if they choose. May not be able to use it in court anymore after the recent Supreme Court decision a few weeks ago on cell site location information. However, it's an investigative tool that they can line up who's there. They can also line these things up by the boats. Right. And they're calling CETO and things like that. So these are all things the police are going to verify and shake out what they believe led to this young man's death.
I can get the GPS, Morse. I can get the GPS. Yep. I can get the cell phone data. I can get the tracking data. I can tell exactly what time the boat left. But I can tell the truth of that. But I can't tell the truth right now about these conflicting reports. Was he on the boat? His phone was on the boat. That's the whole point. He's traveling with his phone, then he's on the boat. They're saying, no, he wasn't on the boat. Now this altercation has arisen, evidence of that emerging after the boat left. Who's telling the truth? The mom, his mom says, no way would he have let the boat leave without his phone. Mm-hmm. Okay, that said, the mom is getting death threats. NolanWells is...
All right, so I ain't talk about that. We're going to go. So this altercation, they said it was some kind of mysterious, like she said, mysterious altercation. And we don't know about that. Nobody's ever said anything. But like I said, if there was an altercation, those boys would have knew about it. Somebody would have came to them or came to somebody that they know and told them, hey, yeah, when y'all left, man, old boy got into it with somebody, man, and it was bad, you know. They would know. And maybe they do know. If they didn't do nothing to them, maybe they do know. They just not gonna say nothing. But let's check out Willie Dewey, talk about this mysterious altercation, and then we're gonna get into this interview where part 1 where Brandon Tatum interviews those boys, and then they had an attorney, and this attorney, I mean, he seems very rude. Seems like he's a little racist too, I ain't gonna lie, but let's get into what Willie D got to say. Let's get to it. I think I watched a little bit of it. Let's see.
It is now being reported that there was some type of mystery altercation in regards to NolanWells' death. Some kind of way that might be connected to his death. Some dudes that he got into it with that was totally separate from his friend group that he came to the island with. He got into it with them, and somehow, some way, maybe That's how he ended up dead. So they're floating the idea that, well, maybe he didn't drown. Maybe somebody did kill him. Remember now, they was riding with the whole drowning thing. Now they're trying to say, well, maybe somebody killed him because he was arguing with somebody. First and foremost, we don't really even know if that's even true, that he was in an argument with someone, right? That has not been confirmed. We don't know if it's true. Secondly, how convenient is it that, okay, it was an argument going on, we can't confirm who was in the argument. And so let's just say Nolan was in the argument. And if Nolan's in an argument, that creates some doubt that maybe the guys he was in an argument with killed him. And so that shifts the blame and makes everybody look over that way instead of this way. Nancy Grace put that theory out there. She said that, hey, here at True Crime, I think is the name of her show, is True Crime or something along the lines of crime. We want the truth, whatever the truth is. She said we have to explore, in so many words, she said we have to explore all leads. It's out there, we got to talk about it, we'll spin it, right? Well, I'm going to explore it too. I'm going to explore the bullshit. Ain't no damn mystery altercation. Nolan Wells was murdered. And his friends know who did it. His so-called friends know who did it. Where are all of these mystery people? Now you got two groups of friends who don't know what happened. You got the original group who he came with, who left him on the island. Then you got another group, and they saying the way that they're justifying it, they're trying to explain it, is that, okay, he got into an argument at 5 o'clock, around 5 o'clock with this other group of people. By that time, the Triton boat was gone. So the Triton boat was gone around 4 something. So if that was indeed Nolan was in an argument with another group of guys, then these guys who left him on the island couldn't have possibly been involved. All that sound good. But what y'all gonna do about that? Booyah! Cito phone call. You cannot explain it away. You can come up with all the theories you want. You can right now, it's a matter of throwing stuff up against the wall. They're throwing things against the wall and trying to see what sticks. What better alibi to have than another group of people could have done it? What better new motive to establish or try to establish is that maybe it was somebody else. And here's why it could have been somebody else. Just create enough doubt. Keep throwing stuff out there, creating doubt. This is all smoke screen. This whole mystery altercation thing is smoke screen and mirrors. And Nancy Grace been around long enough to know that. This is all smoke screen and mirrors. Now she said she had to talk about it. She has to explore it. Okay, I'm exploring it. I'm talking about it. And I am saying definitively that it is BS. Ain't no mystery altercation. That's right, I said it. Ain't no mystery altercation. We heard that phone call.
Well, I mean, from the way that she was talking, it seems like she didn't believe that either. So, shout out to Willie D, but it didn't seem like she believed there was an altercation either. And I mean, it's how she said, like, that boy wouldn't have stayed on that island if he didn't have his phone. I'm pretty sure his parents probably didn't talk to him before. That's not his first time going out there. I'm pretty sure they didn't talk to him before about safety and stuff like that. Make sure you able to uh see the people that you went there with, and when they leave, you need to leave too. We've had talks like that with our children. my parents talked to me about stuff like that. You know, and I don't think he would have left his phone because I showed y'all a picture yesterday. Excuse me, a picture yesterday where he was getting ready to go to the prom, and they were taking a picture of him. You know, he was all dressed up, nice, and what do you know? He had that cell phone in his hand, taking a picture. So I don't think he would have wanted to stay there without his cell phone. Now, mind you, now I said this too. Now I have been in some, some of my friends' car. I could be riding in their car. They drop me off, and I accidentally leave my phone in their car. And I get inside my house and get comfortable, and then I start looking for my phone. Like, oh shit, I left my phone in the old boy's car. So it can happen. Like you can leave your phone somewhere on accident. But I don't think just being out there. I don't think he would have wanted to be out there because that's too far away from home. And then he has no way of getting home. You can't just walk. You know what I'm saying? They was in the ocean. They had to get out there by a boat. So then that right there makes me think that those they're friends, but they weren't as close as Warren was saying. Because if you got a real close buddy, y'all supposed to be best friends. Me myself, I wouldn't leave my best friend out there unless I knew for sure that he was able to get back. He's tell my homie, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna stay out here." I'm like, "Well, shit, how you getting back home? You know what I mean? How you getting back home?" Such and such, I'm gonna catch a ride with old boy. All right, cool. Stuff like that. But remember you left your phone on the boat. You know what I mean? So you need to come get your phone. So that just tells me right there they wasn't as close as they say they were. Cause you just go if he just turn around and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna stay on the island," and you just say, "Okay, cool," you know what I'm saying? And then they said that y'all just shot out of there like a bat out of hell. They say y'all was supposed to drop a line or something, but y'all didn't. So I don't know. Was it because y'all were intoxicated and just forgot to do that, or were y'all trying to get out of there in a hurry because y'all did something? You know what I'm saying? I don't see I couldn't leave my homie on the island like that. And if he did want to stay, I know I would tell him, "Hey man, get your stuff, get your phone, man." But I would want to know myself, "Hey, how you getting home?" "Hey, I'm gonna catch a ride with such and such." Okay, cool. That way, if anything does happen, and like this right here, and they come talk to me, I'm like, "Hey, well, he told me he was riding with old boy." You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they were as close as Warren said they were. I'm gonna watch a little bit more of Willie D, and we're gonna get into this interview.
And we all heard it. And we heard it before Janetta Bradley improved the audio, before she enhanced what was already there. For the slowpokes, enhance is not a bad thing. Enhancing means to better, improve. When Warren, the other day, when he was on Tatum's show, talking about the audio call, he's like, "Yeah, listen to some enhanced phone call." He said enhanced like it was a bad thing. Some enhanced phone call. He sounded dismissive. Like Wyatt, is it Pyron? Like Wyatt Pyron did on the phone call to Cito. Very dismissive. No, we don't need them. Remember when she asked him, do you need the Coast Guard? No, we don't need them. What? Very rude. I don't think I've ever heard anybody that was in distress, that was on a sinking boat, in any type of imminent danger situation, be so rude towards the person who's trying to help them. Bad attitudes.
Hey, that's like rich spoiled kids talk. That's how they talk. That's how they talk. So I mean, that's you can't you just gotta look over that. That's just how they talk. They even talk to their parents like that. So that lady wasn't nothing to them, and you could see if that photo or that video is accurate. If that was July 4th, you could see that they weren't in distress. You could see they was just chilling. They weren't really panicked. And the lady did ask, "Do y'all have life jackets?" Yeah, we got life jackets. Now, if they was drowning or sinking, at least one or two of them, you could see one or two of them with their life jackets on already. They prepared, so they weren't in distress. And I don't. He knew that he wasn't sinking. Now he knew that he was taking on water, and I guess he was just waiting for somebody to come tow him in. But they weren't in distress. And on that call, I'm sorry to say, I hear I don't hear a lot of stuff that you guys are hearing. I know that I hear, "Can we cover it up?" And I told y'all that sounds like a older lady, like late 30s, mid 40s. And then I hear, "Oh my God," and I hear, "Damn it, Nolan." That's all I hear. I don't hear all that other stuff that they're saying. So, they keep talking about that audio call. I don't really hear what people are hearing or what that Janetta put down, and she put it down, and she did a script. So like they said, man, basically, if you're reading it, your mind is making you think that you're hearing that. So I'm not too I don't think that audio call is gonna go anywhere because a lot of people couldn't hear it. I'm not the only one that said they couldn't hear it. So I ain't too much worried about that. I couldn't hear what everybody was hearing and all that stuff, and so I don't know why they keep bringing that audio call up. But let's get into this interview because I heard them boys kind of stuck their foot in their mouth again. Here we go. I haven't
what do you
watched
expect to get
this.
out of,
Hold on, let me do this. I haven't watched it, so
obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, having a typical experience, then you lose your friend.
I think ever since it happened, my life just hit like a hole. Like even going out, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse.
You just met these young men more recently. And are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it?
I guess that is the attorney because uh, somebody was playing some clips, and the way he was talking, he just seemed like he was really rude. I thought to me when they played them clips, it sounded like he's kind of racist too, but I don't know.
We have Ed Pausick, Warren, Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time I was here. We had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives now that we have Ed here. Ed is a defamation attorney. And I want to start with you, Ed. Why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here. My co-counsel, he's an incredible human being and he's an incredible attorney. And then after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men. And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people. And, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people. And this is a very sad situation, but it's also a very human situation. And it's a tragedy.
Hey, that cat been around Trump too long. They're very beautiful people. They're just great people. He been around Trump too damn long.
You guys have, obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend, Nolan. And after that, what has life been like for you guys?
I think like ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole, like it just stopped. And I mean, we just got to live day by day from now on. I could say definitely a whole flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, we're always paranoid somebody's going to see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse. We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that. Yeah.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, and not being able to like go certain places or, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too. And it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me, and it's hard, but we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of people accosting you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online. Been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that. Being spotted.
I mean, people have obviously just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think it's really just like awkward because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. We're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when, like sometimes we just need some alone time, or sometimes we just need to, lay back and not be around all this. And I mean, I've been called out in public, and I haven't been in public that much. I know my friends have had encounters in public. The threats have been insane from, my stepmom and my dad, my mom, just everyone included, like even my brothers and my sisters. And it's just hard. I mean, it's unbelievable where like this has been taken to and the level where this is at.
When you say you've been called out in public, can you give me an example of like, what do you mean? People are threatening you with weapons? People are, not allowing you, denying you service? Because I heard that Trayston, he went to a corner store and they told him his money is not good there. They wouldn't even let him buy Gatorade.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing things like that or something totally different?
Right. I wouldn't say like that. I think I haven't been denied, anything, but like Trayston, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work and having to, like, he calls me, he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's crazy to me. Like, we live in a very tight knit community, and for people to, push back and say these things when they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And I mean, I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have. So.
And Ed, as an attorney that's representing these boys, I mean, what does that make you feel like? Do you feel like you got a good case here, or what's your perspective in that? Because people are online, and obviously they know who you are. Obviously, they know you represented Donald Trump in some pretty high-profile cases. And so now that you've joined, or at least now you work for the young men here, you hear them say things like they've been accosted, they've been, threatened online. Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're going to get you. And you're going to be hauled into court. You're going to be held accountable. And it's going to be very painful. And what I would say to the people who have done that is, now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now. Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you just can't leave. You won't be able to get out of it. And we're not going to name names because there's some other folks who are doing that, and we want to be better than that. And I want to emphasize this, right? We're not here to guess. We're not here to speculate. We're only going to deal in facts, right? And here's the most important thing, right? We don't know how Nolan Wells died. No one here is saying we know. But what we do know is Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. And that's what's important. And unfortunately, because there are people who want to divide a town and come in from the outside and tell people what to think and pit neighbor against neighbor, it compounds the tragedy. It magnifies the tragedy. And I just want to say this. Here's why it's an even bigger tragedy. Because my friends here, Morgan, Jax, and Warren, these guys are not just the finest that Ocean Springs has to offer, finest that Mississippi has to offer. These are the finest young men that America has to offer. You know, really great people. And Tyler actually taught me good Ocean Springs people. That was one of the first things I heard when I got here. So I'll just say that. They're good Ocean Springs people.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and also join our membership program.
We ain't gonna support that. But he's saying make sure you apologize. Like, I've never heard. Maybe there is people out there that's done lied on these boys, but from what I've seen, I haven't seen anybody lie on those boys. So I don't know what he's talking about. And he said there are people, and once you go to court, there's no getting out of it. Then that's crazy.
Strong enough word. In fact, beyond a reasonable doubt is not strong enough. There's a 0% chance that they did anything wrong. So this is not 90%. It's not 99%. It's not 99.9999. There's no decimals. There's no anything. It's 100%. 100.000%. Nothing. They did nothing wrong. And that's the problem for our opponents here, who have ruined their lives, dragged them through the mud, and attacked them. You don't get to lie. We have a First Amendment. We love our First Amendment, but you don't get to lie.
He says 100% they did nothing wrong, like he was out there too. So you're going to take their word and maybe what some people in that town, maybe a few people in that town say about them. He says 100%. They didn't have nothing to do with it. You don't know that. You was not out there, dude.
And hurt people. You want to lie and it doesn't hurt people? Fine. You lie and you hurt people, that's why we have defamation. And that's what this is about. So I just want to emphasize this in the strongest possible terms. Zero wrongdoing. Completely innocent. Totally innocent. And categorically innocent.
And you guys have had experiences with either people threatening you online. I know that, Warren, we talked about this before, and we talked a little, or at least spoke a little bit about when you go out, you guys are getting accosted by people. Can you give us an example of, or at least tell the audience an example of an incident where you guys may have been accosted? Or what does that look like when you go out? People threaten you with weapons, or people trying to physically harm you, or people having to be restrained? What kind of engagement is happening when you guys go out?
We went to a restaurant, a couple of buddies of mine, and when we were, I wouldn't say threatening with weapons or anything, but I felt, and I know my friends felt, threat for our lives. I mean, I don't think there was like a fear factor, but at the same time, like it's awkward in public. Like I stated, like when we have to talk about these things, but we went to a restaurant and someone came up to me and was like, "Is this you?" And I was kind of like shaken up about it. Well, at first she asked like my name and like all these questions, and I was like, okay, whatever, she's just coming up to talk. Well, then she came up to me again and showed me our first interview and was like, "Are you sure this isn't you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's me, like obviously." And she kind of just I looked at my buddy and I was like, "Yeah, we're leaving, like close everything out, like we're going." And I left, and there was an altercation after I left with some of my buddies that weren't involved in this at all. And they told my friends that they were going to kill them and they wanted to fight and all this like crazy stuff. I mean, I wasn't there, but my friends told me this, that what the people were saying to them was like totally just crazy. Like, I mean, there was people like that were, outside of this telling us like, "Hey, you need to leave before something happens, because I know what could go down right now. And like, I know that these people are crazy." So, I mean, we all felt, we were kind of shaken up about that. It was weird because it was our first encounter as a group. And I think it's also like just crazy that people will like look at you in the eye and tell you they'll kill you because they believe you killed your best friend and you have nothing to do with it.
And Morgan and Jax, were you guys there?
He said he was out at a restaurant with some friends, not the ones that was on the boat, right? And some lady walks up to him and said, "Is this you?" He's like, he kind of blew it out. So she leaves and comes back again with a picture of him in the first interview. "This is you, ain't it?" "Yeah, that's me." But I guess she don't say nothing to him. I guess maybe she walks off, or maybe she walks off to go get maybe some other people. And his buddy is like, "Man, you need to go and get out of here before uh uh these people come back, because we know these people, they're crazy. We know these people, they're crazy." So he got up and just left. And instead of saying, "Hey, you know what, man? No, I'm gonna stay. I don't want nothing to happen to you. I'm gonna stay here and we gonna all leave." He gets up and leaves them there to deal with the situation. What kind of shit is that? That's crazy. But people, if y'all are, and then ho. I wonder if these are people that's not from Ocean Springs, because you remember this is a tight knit community. Everybody knows everybody. So why would they be? You know what I'm saying? Why would they be trying to get mad at him, wanting to fight him? If they're such a tight knit community, they would be, I guess, supporting him and telling him, "Yeah, we know you didn't have nothing to do with this." If they're so tight over there, so it must have been some outsiders. That's what I'm thinking. That's crazy. It is. It's really crazy, and it's really messed up that you left your homies there to handle your situation. What the hell is wrong with you, dude?
Yes, we were there.
I was there.
I didn't hear the part where they said they were going to kill him and stuff, but I did hear whenever she came up to him originally, she was like, "Hey, you have like TikTok or anything like that? Your face looks really familiar." And he was like, "No, I don't have TikTok, anything like that." And she was like, "Oh, okay," and then walked off, and then came back with, like you said, the first interview on her phone and showing him. She's like, "So this isn't you. Either you have a doppelganger or this is you." And he was like, "Well, yeah, that's me." And then we got the check and we bounced, and we were waiting outside for everybody else to get out of there. And while we're waiting outside is whenever some of our other buddies that aren't even on social media that we were just there with was getting told that other people are going to kill them and all that kind of stuff.
So how did that make you guys feel did you think they were serious? Did you think it was just people trying to make a name for themselves by confronting you in front of others? Like, what was your take on that, Morgan?
I think it was just like, I was in the general area of where one of our buddies was, where this altercation happened. And
I actually got into a conversation with a fellow next to me that wasn't even involved, and he told me straight up, he was like, if I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt. Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all and making sure y'all are safe. And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment, but I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these things that obviously are not true.
If you can go back to the very beginning of this, how do you think this should have played out? Because I always question in my mind that when I go back, I look at what happened, I look at the initial stories with Nolan, and you guys knew him, right? I didn't know him. I know none of you guys. I just had a chance to meet you guys more recently. But how do you think this should have gone if you could control the environment? Nolan is found deceased. How do you guys think that this should have been put out to the world?
So,
Hey, I think that's that's kind of messed up. I really do. I think that's messed up. We don't know what happened. It could. What if it turns out that these boys didn't have nothing to do with that? So if anybody watches this, I mean, trying to harass them and trying to fight them and threaten them, I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I really don't, because we don't know what happened. So it could be that they didn't have anything to do with it. So if you out trying to fight and threaten these boys, and then it turns out that they didn't have nothing to do with it, I mean, you're gonna look like a dumbass, and then plus you may get sued by this guy right here. But I'm not understanding about he's asking them about these questions. I mean, about these threats, and that's cool. But I would have asked them right after that about their threats. I would have asked them, "How do you feel about Nolan's mom getting these threats?" Because you remember, she's getting the threats. She she was supposed to be investigated by the nursing board of Mississippi, but I believe they dropped it. So I mean, nobody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about the threats and stuff that these boys and their parents get.
first off, I wish that none of this would ever happen. I wish Nolan could still be here with us today. And I wish that, like I said, none of this would ever happen. Like, I wish that all this could be erased and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But other than that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with Warren and another guy. That's where it first started to take off. And then also the fact that she posted a picture of me and Morgan and another guy and Nolan on the boat together, blasting that out there, pushing this narrative, kind of, I guess. I wish that would have never happened either. And I don't think if those would have never happened, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion. And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother. Like, and you know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up. And it wasn't him asking. It was just because that's what we did. We just picked up Nolan all the time. That's how we, came about to all the stuff that we were going to.
But there it is again. I mean, he's saying, dude, he was my brother. So that says the past tense. So they hadn't even found out Nolan was deceased yet. So why would you say that? So that's what I'm saying. People are gonna see this and they're gonna tear into you about saying that. People are gonna tear into you about saying that. And then on top of that, you saying that his mom posted a picture of you Nolan, and then Nolan and another buddy on that boat. He's saying that she blasted him. I really think if she posted y'all, she's probably saying, "Hey, these are the people that was last seen with my son. You know, if y'all seen these people with my son, can you let me know? DM me something." I don't think she was blasting you guys.
Go and pick him up. That's how much we like to be around him. We would do stuff like that all the time, you know?
Well, first off, like I wish we would have never, like, I think about this every day. Like, I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July, because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone. And like, it's really hard to think about, because it's like, I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different, because now one of my brothers wouldn't have, like, passed away. But I think from the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard, and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started texting us things, saying, you know, crazy things. But I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that, like, people are pushing the narrative, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is a bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is, you know, like in the beginning it was like 4 guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island and just left him there. Like, even from the beginning, it was just like this thing, and no one had facts, and they were just pushing this horrible narrative, all lies about everyone, and it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad that I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed.
But you called her and told her that her he said her son. Why didn't you say, "Hey, my brother Nolan is missing"? You know? He said that he called her and told her that her son was missing. But that's supposed to be your best friend, your brother. And nobody started pushing the race thing, and it wasn't towards you guys. What it was towards the state of Mississippi, because in the past, when things like this happen, it's always undetermined or suicide. So they weren't pushing the race thing towards you guys. This man right here, when he came in, he started pushing that race thing because the family hired Ben Crump and had Al Sharpton there. So that's when he started. That's when the race thing came in, when he got involved. What they were saying was Mississippi has a past of just like sweeping this under the rug. It wasn't a race thing towards you guys. It was only when this man got involved, then it started being a race thing. And if you go back and see what Ben Crump said in the beginning, he just said Mississippi has a past of calling this something other than what it was, because they aren't getting our kids and our people aren't getting the investigations like they should be. Mississippi is known for this, so it had nothing to do with you guys. But when he came in, then that's when it started being a race thing.
This has, like, been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would change from my point of view and my friend's point of view. I think we did everything right, and I know we did nothing wrong.
I also want to say, I think it's so criminal that they took something so anti-racist and flipped it into something super racist. Like they took, this is the definition of anti-racism. I mean, that we did not look at Nolan any different than I looked at him, or even you. You know, this is literally our brother. I mean, like we stated, we did not treat him any different we didn't treat Trayson any different. We don't treat Trayson any different. And they just flipped it. And I just think that is so wild that they're pushing this thing that they're saying, oh, they want to end racism and all this stuff. Well, they're the one pushing it. They're pushing the racism. And I just think that's kind of crazy.
Morgan, what's your thoughts on this? How does it affect you?
First I want to say wish this would have never happened. I wish Nolan would still be here with us today. And but I in my opinion, I think that the media they shouldn't have pushed a narrative from so early. I think that they should have let the local officials do their job, let them release statements, and then the media is obviously going to see that and then do whatever they do. But that's what I trust the local officials.
Ed, with what has transpired, how does that dictate your response? Because you have a 30,000 foot view of all of this stuff, right? You see the way that it could have went, and you see that there's people that instigated the narrative that's out there now. And as a defamation attorney, how does this navigate your tactics?
Sure. And I want to be clear about something. Tonight, I'm not going to give any particular person any more oxygen than they may have already sucked up. But I will say this. What's been said about Morgan, Jax, and Warren, I'm not going to call them untruths or half-truths or falsehoods. I'm going to call it what it is, lies. So the first thing that's really important here is we're dealing with lies and liars. We're dealing with profiteers. We're dealing with hustlers. And one thing that I've seen since I got here is that Ocean Springs, Mississippi, is a really beautiful place. And the region is very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in the country. And there is just no question. The death of NolanWells is a horrendous tragedy. But for the tragedy to then be magnified after his death for no reason other than profit is a disgrace, or what we would call a shanda. And I had the opportunity to go to Horn Island today with Tyler and Warren and Jax. And a lot of people who have been sucking up way more oxygen than they're entitled to have not been to the island. I'm willing to bet that a lot of the hustlers and profiteers and liars have not been to that island. And you have to go to that island. And being at the island today was revelatory. It was really illuminating. It's a very dynamic marine environment, first of all. But when you go to the island, you see instantly that what some people want to be true, what they wish to be true, they're trying to wish it to be true. They're trying to make it true through their lies. It's actually not possible. It is a very, very long and narrow barrier island. It's basically very low sand dunes. And in the particular part of the island that we're dealing with, there are no trees. It's hardly any foliage, hardly any tree cover, hardly any plants, and it's wide open. And on July 4th, there were thousands of people there. There is no possible way that anybody could have committed a murder in broad daylight on a barren, windswept island that is narrow and was just swamped with people that day in broad daylight. It's just not possible given the natural environment there. And that leads me to the next point, which is this. Once you know what the timeline is, when you combine the timeline with the actual dynamics of the island itself, all of the lies completely unravel because it isn't possible. And here's why. Morgan, Warren, and Jax left the island at about 4:30 p.m. That's it. They were gone. That is not open for debate. So that's a fact. They were gone. And at that time, Nolan Wells was still alive. Now, I'm not going to name them out of respect for their privacy, but just as one example, there are two very fine, upstanding members of the Ocean Springs community who saw Nolan Wells at about 10 minutes to 6 p.m. So about an hour and a half after these fine young men had left the island, they were gone, departed. Nolan Wells was alive. And these two witnesses, two very reliable, very credible, and very upstanding members of the community, they saw Nolan. And they've known Nolan for years. There's no chance that they made a mistake.
Hold on. That don't make no damn sense whatsoever. First off, I want to start with the profiteers. I wonder who he's calling that, because if he's calling Ben Crump and Al Sharpton that there's no way. I don't understand why he is calling that, because they're raising money to do conduct their own investigations and, pay for like these autopsies and stuff like that. Yes, they are asking for people to help with that. So that's not a profit for them. They're raising money for this family. So I don't know what he's talking about. I just hope he's talking about somebody else and not Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. Now, if you listen to this man's what he just said makes no sense whatsoever. Makes no sense. He first starts out and he says, "Oh my God, man. Just listen to what he says, man." He starts out and he says, "There's no way in hell anybody could have done anything foul out there. No way. Because this particular part on this island we're talking about, they have no trees. They have nothing there. So there's no way that anybody could have done anything without somebody seeing it, right?" Now, I think that's messed up is if you go back to what Brandon Tatum said uh, in one of his little things where he was talking about this information that's coming to him. Now, he said that he was getting some information that somebody told him that they were talking to somebody else and said, "Hey, if you don't come forward and tell what you did to Brandon, to Nolan, then they were gonna do something." That's what he said. Now, this attorney he's acting like he was there for real. He acts like he was on the boat because he's like 100% they didn't do nothing. You wasn't there, dude. So that doesn't make sense. Then he says there was 1,000 people, over 1,000 people on this island, but only two seen Nolan. Are you serious? Just two people out of 1,000. So that makes no sense, man. I don't. This interview is crazy, man. People gonna start poking holes in this bad boy, and then this attorney is gonna be wanting to go hard too, because what he just said makes no sense. There are 1,000 people on this island, but we got two credible people that seen Nolan Wells after 6:30. Really? You was only able to get two people to tell you that they seen Nolan Wells, and then what I said in the beginning. Somebody could have did something to that boy out there, and it could have been the whole island that seen it, or just quite a few, but they don't want to say nothing because you remember this is supposed to be a tight knit community, and maybe they're afraid that if they come forward, it might put them in danger and their family.
Mistake. And by the way, this can be corroborated through other evidence, other eyewitness accounts. And that's the end of it right there. That's before we get into everything else about the situation.
And when I look at this, I feel like
He said other eyewitnesses account, but at first he said too credible. There are two credible witnesses. Then he turns around and said other eyewitnesses account. Don't you think he would have just said it would have been several witnesses that seen him? You know, they even and then, you know, this dude said that somebody came with some information that Nolan was wasted. He was trash. He was snorting powder. You know, there's just been so many things that's then came out to try to steer us away from what really happened out there. We don't know if it happened there. We don't know if it happened at that pool party. We don't know if it happened on the boat. But everybody seemed to think that it happened on one of those boats. I don't know. All I know is he's not here. He's deceased. You know, but what he's saying isn't making sense either. And watch what I tell you. They're gonna start poking holes in this interview, and it's gonna be so bad that this attorney gonna start. He might start getting threats.
There's levels of defamation and areas of defamation.
And I'm not saying, hold on now. I'm not saying them threats is, people should do that. I'm not saying don't do that. Don't be sending no threats out. Don't do nothing. None of that stuff. All we need to do is wait until everything comes out. The toxicology report, the autopsy, whatever the grand jury says. Let's just wait. I'm thinking they found something because they did not send the neck or the lungs to Washington, D.C. They kept them. So I really hope it wasn't on no shady crap. I really hope that it wasn't on nothing shady. I'm hoping that they kept them because they found something. And whatever they found, it may get some people in trouble that they don't want to see get in trouble. This could be a reason why it's taking so long. Because they know once they put this information out or give it to the family or Ben Crump, then you know what? It may end up implicating some people that they don't want in this situation. Or either they're waiting until they are prepared because they're going to give this family some bad news and they think that people are finna go out there and tear Mississippi or Ocean Springs up. It's one of the two. Because this is taking long, and I'm not trying to rush these people, and I really don't want them to put that information out to the public. I really think they should hold on to it and share it with the family, and let the family or Ben Crump share it with us. I don't think they should put it out in the public. But my thought is either they are trying to prepare themselves because they know that they finna give this Wells family some bad news that's not gonna go the way they think, or they're fixing to put some people in it that's gonna get them in trouble, and they don't want to do that. So I don't know. It's one of the two. The grand jury is gonna make their decision, and I don't know. Maybe that's why it's taking so long, because it's gonna implicate some people that they just don't want to get in trouble. I don't know.
And I'm not going to speak on your behalf because this is y'all's story to tell, your story to litigate. But which areas are the most egregious that you are going to go after, or that you guys think also are areas where people have taken this situation and clearly lied to the public? One being the phone call. What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts, first, you guys, on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area the way it was produced? So what do you guys think about that audio?
Say part 2 coming soon. They're gonna talk about the audio then, part 2. I don't know. I really don't know. I know one thing for sure. They weren't as close as them boys say they were. They were. And I just think that attorney, man, he's talking about we didn't give people some oxygen, so much oxygen, you know what I'm saying? They just taking up oxygen or something like that, man. I think he's just really kind of talking out his behind for real, man. So I feel like when this stuff comes out, somebody's gonna get in trouble and it's gonna really hurt a lot of people in Ocean Springs. But it's not gonna hurt us because I'm pretty sure if this investigation goes the way it's supposed to go, we are already gonna know who did it and why. I just really think that they taking so long because they know. They know that they're fixing to have to maybe arrest somebody that they don't want to arrest. I don't know. But then, before we get into this, like, I just feel like, to me, I feel like if they find them two girls, or girls, two girls, ladies, whatever, if they find them females that was on or near around that boat when the old boy was making that call, and they put some pressure on them ladies, and if something did happen, they gonna tell it. I think they need to find out who those girls were. Now that Pink Panda one or whatever, J Magan, whatever her name is, she had a little video and she was basically saying Katie was one of the girls that was on the boat when it was being told. But she's the only one that I know so far that's putting her Katie on this boat. I don't know. All right, so here we got this psychotherapist. I think he's gonna be the first one to start poking holes in this interview. So let's see what he got to say.
To Cito, some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. So what do you guys think about that audio?
From this very first question, I start wondering, is ex-officer Tatum being paid by the attorneys that represent these young men or the young men's families themselves? Because that is a question that is very loaded and it's leading towards innocence. It lets the interviewees know that the interviewer has a bias, and thus it's more about getting out a narrative than of finding the truth. Now, I want to...
You see what I'm saying? Look at that. He came out the gate with it. Hold on, let's see what he said. Let's listen to this question again. He came out the gate with it. You see what I'm saying, man? People gonna get this thing and they gonna study it and start poking holes. They gonna start finding stuff. And it might get so bad that it might ruin this attorney's reputation because he's like 100%, 100, like he was there on this island with them. I mean, you don't know, bro. I mean, I know you're an attorney. You supposed to say these things to kind of keep your clients at ease. But he's talking reckless, man. I wonder if he have doubts. And he's just talking like that on his interview.
It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. So what do you guys think about that audio?
From this very first question, I start wondering, is ex-officer Tatum being paid by the attorneys that represent these young men or the young men's families themselves? Because that is a question that is very loaded, and it's leading towards innocence. It lets the interviewees know that the interviewer has a bias, and thus it's more about getting out a narrative than of finding the truth. Now, I want to be clear. I do not know what these boys did or did not do, but when you release videos like this, you open yourselves up to a certain level of scrutiny that was not there before. And that question doesn't sound like you are interested in an unbiased answer. You ask the question in a biased way that makes the interviewees feel more comfortable.
Well, I can go ahead and say that as you posted that clip of all of us on the boat, you know, as it's rolling, not rolling, but right there sitting in the water, Wyatt's on the phone with Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of on the floor or something, or scrambling around, or everybody in a pot, like in a small space on the boat looking at him or something? I mean, it's just so crazy to think that. Why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat?
To be very clear, when you are professing your innocence and you are passionately talking about your alibis and talking about how you would never do this and strongly advocating for you did not do this, that is not in and of itself proof of innocence. We can think about many, many cases where people have advocated and said like they did not do anything. I think about Rafael Palmeiro, who was testifying in front of Congress during the steroid trials for baseball, holding up its finger and saying, I have never used steroids. Then it turns out he did test positive and negatively ruined his legacy. Also, Lance Armstrong, maybe the most passionate defender of his own truth, of his own innocence, turns out he was actually cheating and lying the whole time. So these boys saying like, don't you think that if we had done something, we wouldn't have done this? It just reeks of like not understanding that just because you are passionately trying to convince me of something does not mean that it's not true. And it's there's a lot more here we're going to get into, but I just want to make sure that you highlight, like, the investigation needs to pull out real evidence of what happened or what didn't happen. And someone saying they didn't do it is not evidence of innocence.
I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody?
I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip of the boat when Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, and it is boldly clear that Nolan was not on the boat with us. You can literally almost see down to the deck. And as you can see in that picture, everybody is completely casual while Wyatt's on the phone with Cito. Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to get the boat fixed, but the guys were
So it was a content creator. Shout out Chris Go. Somebody called it out. They said they were calmly chilling, and then he turned around and said we were scrambling, trying to keep the boat from sinking. So which one is it? I agree with Sco. Which one is it? Was you chilling? Was you calmly chilling? Or was you scrambling around trying to keep the boat from sinking? Sinking. I said sinking, my bad. Keep the boat from sinking. Which one is it, Warren? And then I believe, well, I'm not going to say nothing about that. Let's see if they say something.
You know, in the video, you'd see me, I'm sitting on the bow. If there was someone dying on the boat, why would everybody just be sitting there waiting to either get towed in or in the first place, like Jack said, why would Wyatt call Cito? It's crazy. The reason we turned down Coast Guard is why would we call Coast Guard if Cito could pull us in? But we fixed the boat and we ran into Fort Bayou, and that's it. The Cito call was completely enhanced, and these people just want to believe what they want to hear. And that's exactly what they're doing. So
if I were doing this interview, here's a question I would ask. Who was recording your boat? Why were they recording your boat at that exact moment? Because it could be a suspicious activity, like you guys are trying to establish an alibi. And lastly, couldn't Nolan have been on that boat? That question was not asked, so we do not know what these young men, how they would have explained that away.
And see, I said that in, I think I don't know, it's probably like the first or second live. I said that. I said, could Nolan have been on the other boat? Because Bart was towing them. I think they were throwing the rope to Bart's boat. Bart was the one that was supposed to have been dating the Katie girl, right? Bart is the one that I guess that had the problem with Nolan, I guess, seeing this Katie girl. I don't know if he was mad because that was his lady, and then he come home and see old boy hugged up with her, because he said he wasn't. I guess Bart wasn't gonna go out there in the beginning. He wasn't gonna go out there in the beginning. Remember, because the first interview, Warren said, "Hey, I guess it was too many people that was wanting to go out there," so he calls his buddy Bart. Hey man, can you bring your boat out so you can help us transport these people to Horn Island? Bart, oh yeah, sure, man. Want me to stop and get a 6-pack too? Well, I'll just get a case. I'm 22, I'll get a case. So he goes out there. And maybe he sees Nolan, but he's not too familiar with Nolan. And maybe Nolan, them two aren't too familiar with each other. Or maybe they just met that day, not knowing that they both are, seeing or used to see the same girl. Come on now, help me. So they get down to the island. Warren get out the boat. He like, I'm gonna go see where this mug at. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go see where she at. She told me she was gonna be here at such and such time. We might, he might have been running 30 minutes late. So she might be walking, walking on down this island, see who all down here. Maybe Warren wasn't thinking about Katie because they used to be his old flame, right? Maybe he wasn't even thinking about it. So guess what? Nolan comes back, I guess, from the middle of the island, and he's hugged up with old girl. Man, if that was true, I bet you that boy had his shirt off and his whole body was red. He was hot. He was mad. He was upset. So maybe she seen Bart, played it off, and told old boy, "Hey, let's walk down here a little bit." She probably didn't tell him that was her old flame. Now I'm just speculating. I'm just coming up with a story. I don't know if this was how it was. But anyways, this is what I'm thinking. So they go down, walk somewhere else, don't know nothing, you know what I'm saying? Nothing about Katie and old boy. She ain't mentioned it. And maybe he, like I said, just met Bart today, or maybe he met him, a year or two ago. But old boy was off in college. He just came home too. So they get to hollering, "Come on, man, Nolan, let's go, let's go. We gotta go." Like, all right. He tell her, "Hey man, these boys wanna leave. I don't know what's up. So must be something important. So I'm finna go ahead and get on because they're my ride." Okay. I'll talk to you later. Hug. Might be a little sweet kiss. You know what I'm saying? And guess who's seeing it all? and he probably hot. You know how them old cartoons where that bull would turn red and the steam would start coming out his nose. He was probably like that, but nobody's paying attention because they worried about the boat. They ain't seeing this, so they get ready to burn off. Didn't even put the I guess drop the line or whatever they say they didn't do. So they burning off because Nolan taking too long. The only boat that's left is Bart's. But Nolan jumps on that boat because he knows that boat is going to the same place where they left from this morning. Stay with me. This is what I'm thinking. Just stay with me. So Warren and Wyatt, boom, they take off. They in the front. So boy jump on Bart's boat. They take off, but they ain't going quite as fast. You know what I mean? They ain't going quite as fast. Maybe old boy got to asking questions and he didn't like them answers. Hey, Warren, or Nolan, excuse me. Hey, Nolan, can you reach down there and grab that thing for me? Sure, man. What are you looking for? What you need? That right there. Soon as he reached down and grabbed that thing, well, that's where the bruise come from. And y'all can pick it up from there. But man, this is crazy. How do we know Nolan wasn't on the other boat? That was Bart's boat. Because if all that stuff is in that all the stuff that's being said in that Cito call, just think. Bart pulls up, they have to slow down. Bart pulls up and they see this. Somebody say, "Hey, can we cover it up?" Somebody says, is that Nolan? Is he, is he out of here? Is he in the law? Wake up, Nolan. You know what I'm saying? He on the other boat. I don't know, man. I'm just thinking, because even this new interview, it still don't seem right. It just don't seem right.
It's just crazy to me that people have tried to twist this and twist the audio. When we came out with the first interview, it debunked half these lies, and now you don't hear about any of it. You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back, and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background.
No, you don't hear Nolan yelling in the background. And see, that's another thing about this June 27th. I said that pool party's on June 27th. Okay. So now my question to you is, y'all got pictures of this pool party happening June 27th. All right. So when Nolan's mom got his phone back, she said it was no pictures on there. Nolan was at that pool party. Why wouldn't Nolan take pictures of what was happening at that pool party? Of, him kicking in with his buddies at this pool party. Why was there not any pictures of that pool party on Nolan's phone? That's what I want to know. Because according to Attorney Ben Crump, shout out to him, and Christy Walmsley, shout out to her, there was nothing on that phone.
screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie. And it's another lie to push this narrative that people don't want to turn down. It's insane to me.
What's interesting to me here is that they're turning this case into a defamation case about the public having their own theories, hypotheses, and ideas about what might have happened on that day to Nolan Wells. And they're turning it to that and away from the actual investigation of what might have happened to their friend and brother, as they refer to him. And that seems very odd to me. If you really cared about him, you really loved him, you really considered him like a brother, you'd be far more interested in the truth than caring so much about what the public thinks about what you may or may not have done. But
that part. Now, this gonna bring me. This is what I thought about, and I was gonna say this earlier. The lawyer said profiteering. Well, what are they doing? What are they doing? Don't they have some kind of send goal? And they raising all this money off of Nolan Wells passing. So the attorney says profiteering, but your clients are doing the same thing with this give, send, go thing. So maybe he's talking to them, indirectly, I can say.
Clearly isn't the case here. Like, they are very interested on what the public thinks of what they did or didn't do. And so much so that they're turning this into a case about their own perceptions and how people are perceiving them, and away from the actual investigation to what may have happened to Nolan Wells on that day.
First of all, with respect to Warren, if you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard, to call a federal law enforcement agency and tell them, hey, can you guys go out and check out this island and look for Nolan Wells? Well, that's exactly what Warren did. Warren called the Coast Guard. And that is one of many very compelling facts. He got back.
Fact, he did call the Coast Guard, but he already knew that Nolan wasn't out there. I believe they held on to Nolan. And then maybe the Coast Guard did go out there. No, we didn't see nothing. Searched again. No, we didn't see nothing. Then maybe the second time they went out there, them boys went on ahead and shot out there and did what they had to do. So third time's a charm. And what do you know? They found him. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
And he called the Coast Guard. Does that sound like a guilty man to you?
That's more what I was talking about before. Simply saying, if I were guilty, would I have done this? Is not in and of itself proof of innocence. As Lance Armstrong also said, like he said many, many times. If I were guilty, would I have allowed myself to have been tested this many times? Would I be the single most tested athlete on the planet? If I were actually guilty of anything, would I have done this, this, and this? Again, I'm not saying that these young men did anything. What I am saying is simply stating you didn't do it and saying it would have been really stupid of me to do ... if I had done anything is not evidence of innocence. We know that criminals often do really stupid things and get caught from doing the really stupid things that they do. So this just seems odd to me.
All right. Now, these are all American young men, incredible young men.
Referring to them as all American young men is an interesting phrasing as he's talking about his friends, and harkens back to like the perception of like we are clean cut, white, good young men who couldn't have done this. That's intentional.
And they did a lot more than just that. I won't go through all of it now, but they did a lot of heroic things after the fact, and they did the best they could. And they tried for their dear friend. All of their actions are the actions of innocent men, not guilty men. And again, they are categorically, completely, and totally innocent.
I saw another clip where one of the young men referred to Nolan's mom as Miss Wells, which, again, I find odd because you're supposed to be his like friend and brother, and you would know that she went by either Wansley as her last name or Wells Wansley. When I think back to my childhood, I can't remember a single time mispronouncing my best friend's parents' names. I mean, it's just, these are unusual things. Now, look, I don't know what these boys did or didn't do, and I don't know what they know or don't know. It could be just as likely that they saw something they're not saying that they saw. It could be like they know what happened to them, even if they didn't do it. They just saw the circumstance that led to it. Maybe they know nothing and are completely innocent. I don't know. But when you make videos like this, you increase scrutiny. You increase the scrutiny on this situation. And it's just an odd way to go about defending yourself. You are not defending the integrity of your friend. You're not behaving in a compassionate way. I think one of the most important things is you claim to have really loved your friend and brother Nolan. And you have to know that doing these kind of interviews is incredibly triggering to the family of Nolan Wells. So why are you doing them? Why are you not extending compassion to the mother and father of your fallen friend? And also, probably another egregious thing is the massive gaslighting happening here. You cannot sit here and say that, like, it is just crazy that people think we might have done something. There are some facts here that make this highly suspicious. Number one, you were the last people to be seen with Nolan Wells. By your own admission, you were with him on the last day of his life. That in and of itself makes you the entry point into the investigation, makes you the first target. And that's just reality of good investigation. But also, this is happening in Mississippi, where the history of Black people dying under suspicious circumstances, and yet it being determined that there was no foul play involved, means that there's going to be increased suspicion on the behalf of Black people. There will be, it's much harder to trust. Now, these young men being white should understand. And imagine if they were to say something like, "We understand why these things are hard for people to believe, but yet they are true. We didn't do anything. We don't know anything, et cetera, et cetera." But they're not extending any compassion to the Black community, and they're not taking any of the historical context of what's happened in Mississippi into this account. They're literally saying, we don't understand why this is happening. And it's crazy that people are making this a black and white issue. No, it's not crazy. It's not. Even if you take everything else out and you just focus on the historical context of where this is happening, I'm sorry, it's not crazy. The Black community has lots of very good reasons to not trust what is happening in Mississippi. So look, do I know what you guys, what happened on that island? No. Do I know what those young men did or didn't do? No. But there are some very odd things happening around the circumstances. Choosing ex-officer Tatum to be the one you're doing these interviews with alone, very odd. You're not choosing a journalist. You're not choosing someone that's helping you establish what the truth is. You're not working to get information out that is going to help Nolan Wells' family and help the investigation. You seem to be exclusively interested in what the narrative is around what the young men might have done. I find that interesting. So there's my analysis. Those are things that stood out to me. What stood out to you as you watched this interview? Ex-Officer Tatum has once again returned to Mississippi.
Yeah, that's I don't know. My man, I'm sorry I had that my mic muted. I'm so sorry, but what I told you in my earlier, if y'all go back and watch my live, if y'all weren't in here, I told you what I thought happened. And like I said, the way they're talking and the way they're acting, it makes me that's kind of suspicious. And Dr. Umar, he said the same thing. He was like, "Hey, when you talked to Nolan's mom, did you tell her, or why didn't you tell her that you had his phone? You know, why didn't you tell her that you had his phone? She had to use that Life 360 to find out where the phone was." So I mean, that's all that stuff is very suspicious. And they're supposed to be so close, so buddy buddy, and they know that they didn't do nothing to Warren. All they know is they dropped him on, I mean, they left him on that island and something happened to him. Why wouldn't you go to the funeral? No matter what anybody thought. If you know you didn't have nothing to do with that, I mean, that's your homie, that's your best friend. You're supposed to go and show some love. Why wouldn't you do that? You stand away because you feel like people are looking at you funny or you think they're gonna do something to you. We aren't like that. It might have would have showed face if you would have just basically went to that funeral. If you didn't have nothing to do, if you didn't have nothing to do with this situation. And I don't think nobody would have tried to do anything to you at that funeral. It's just it's too much, man. And if y'all go back and watch that interview, I think I'm gonna go back and watch it again too. You're gonna start seeing certain things like this man said in the beginning. The questions that Brandon Tatum is asking him, is like, man, it seems like somebody paid you to do this. And that attorney, man, he seems like he's racist too. I'm sorry. I'm not racist too. I didn't mean to say that those boys is racist, but it just seems like he's racist. Just by the way he's talking. And he's like 100%, I'm 100% sure that these boys didn't have nothing to do with it, like he was there. I hope that they didn't, but if they did, you gonna have to eat your words, partner. I just think that something is going on with this investigation. I know they said they're still waiting on the toxicology report, but they're not releasing anything. But it's mighty odd, like everybody's saying, it's mighty odd for them to hold on to the lungs and the throat. So I'm hoping they did it because they did find something, and maybe they aren't sharing anything because they know once this gets out, somebody's gonna be in trouble, and maybe it's that somebody that they don't want to see get in trouble, or maybe they just holding on to it, trying to get themselves prepared because they're getting ready to tell the Nolan Wells family the news that they don't want to hear, and they feel like they finna burn that mug down. Ocean City is just gonna go through it. Like we just finna come in there and just destroy it. I don't know. Just never know. I feel like a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people know what happened, man. I'm sorry. It's very sad. I be thinking about his mom and dad, man. It's sad because I know what it feels like. I don't know nothing about somebody murdering my son, but I do know how it feels to lose a child. So, I know how that feels. But I'm just thinking about it, but I feel like it's more people that know what happened and they don't want to speak up because their fear of what's going to happen to them or their families if they say anything. And that 125,000, I don't think that's enough because if you remember the lady that I don't know if y'all watched that stuff, you know the lady that did the TikTok video and she's driving around and showing all these houses. Those are some nice homes. You know it's money out there. So if that reward went up to a really substantial amount, a really, really big amount, somebody will say something. But just that 125 is not gonna It's not gonna cut it. And one more thing before I get up out of here that always wanted to know is why, Warren, did your dad put up that 50K for information, and then the tip line was supposedly going to your stepmother's office? She's a judge. Somebody called it. I think it was two people that called it, and the voicemail or whatever said that it was Judge Ashley's office or something like that. I heard one of them. I know for sure it says something about your stepmom's office. So that's kind of suspicious. And that 50K, I think your dad put that up so somebody could bring him some information, really. So I really do think that he was hoping that somebody seen something, take that information to him so he can take it, pay that person, take it, and put his spin on it and make sure that it is far away from the person that actually did it. Allegedly, that's the way I feel. I do want to say rest in peace to Nolan Brown, Daniel Erving, Tyler Smith, Tasia Fortune, last of all, my son, James Wilkerson. I do want to say rest in peace to all of y'all, and I really hope that this family gets the justice they deserve. I hope all those families get the justice they deserve. This is just becoming a problem, very big problem. All right, so I've been over here for like 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I'm finna go and jump off this bad boy. Uh, Waiting for that second part to come through. If it come through, I'm gonna go live and we're gonna react to that. Hopefully, I can catch this guy again. But he basically was talking about the second part. We haven't seen it. Somehow he's seen it. I haven't seen it. I don't know how he was able to talk about the phone calls. He ran it through and he got everybody's, because the first part cut off with just Brandon asking about the phone call. Now he was able to play something, and he got Brandon asking about the phone call, and them boys responded. And I haven't seen that, so I don't know how he was able to get his hands on it. But shout out to you, homie. Shout out to the psychotherapist. I don't know your name, but shout out to you. Appreciate the information. Appreciate your, what your input on this situation. So, but if it come, I'm waiting on it, or any other breaking news that has something to do with this case, I am going to go live. For real, for real. All right, guys. Like I said, man, if you didn't see my live, you in here, you did not see my live, go back and watch it. And you can see a little bit how I'm putting things together in my mind, how I think what happened. Not saying that's what happened, but that's what I'm thinking happened. And hey, please hit the like button or don't. But I really wish you would subscribe to my channel. Become a part of the J Crew. Trying to get my subs up. Trying to get them subs up. I got my little got my Cash App thing scrolling down there at the bottom, but I ain't too concerned about that. I just want to get my subs up. I'm still new to this thing. I'm trying to get get to where, I can be a little bit more entertaining, but right now this is what it is. So, but hit the subscribe button, man, and hit that notification bell. So every time I do something or drop something, y'all will know. Also, man, I got my Instagram on there. It shows, go to my Instagram and follow me. I did. If you go on there and follow me, you can see where I did a little video with everybody that I just named. Rest in peace to all them cats. I did a little video. So I'll go on there and check that out and give it a thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment. Yeah, but go on the gram and 5-star and follow me. It's Lil J. So it's LILJ.AY and then show. It's right there at the bottom right there. So until then, I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. We got a lot of good information tonight. We got a good bit of information tonight. Like my man said, just because you put, do you think I would do that? Does not mean that you're innocent, my guys. So I'm gonna try to go live again, man, sometime for the weekend, for the weekends. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. I don't know. But I'm gonna go live one of these days. I mean, just see what's going on. Hopefully we'll have some news by now. By then, if not, man, we're just gonna go online and talk about some random ish. You feel me? And hopefully, man, if I can get some people in here, I can just open up the chat. Y'all can come up there and we could just rock out on some Instagram post that's crazy, or talk about something. So if I don't have nothing new, that's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go ahead and just do a live and open up the chat, let people come up, wild out. We look at some crazy stuff. We just wild out, have a good time. So until then, man, I'm out. Y'all have a wonderful night. Stay safe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm gone.